Do you know what? You will do Man Cave. It's the new
Sorry
one.
for the re-upload, fellas. The original got copy struck. Rip.
What?
But don't worry, we are working on new main channel videos. Here's a sample of the timelines. In the meanwhile, incognito mode, which has a new video about every 6 weeks, and story mode, which has a new video about every 4 weeks. Thank you for watching a second time.
What the fuck? I'm watching this for the first time. What is this? Adjust your brightness. The text on the left barely visible. What?
In the state of
Wait, no, can I back up? Alright, let's go. Let's go in.
In the state of Kentucky, there is a cave that every now and then demands a sacrifice.
What? I'll
January 30th,
I'll say this. Caves are cool, but I'll stay out of them. I won't go too deep in them. That sounds like I've seen too many badness. So I'm good.
25. A man walks towards the cave with a kerosene lamp in his hand. He hangs up his jacket and ducks into a 5-foot opening.
Fuck
The
that.
inside of the cave is small. He
That's
has
as tall
to
as me,
go
that's
on
not-
hands and knees,
Oh, screw that.
crawling through passages
Why?
of sharp stone and choking
Why are you doing this? Why? What's the point in this?
dust. Then down a chute he had cleared out months earlier. All of the daylight is gone from here, and this lantern is his only source of light. Ignoring the
Oh, let me actually pause the music. I just realized I still got the fucking music going. I'm sorry. Well, here, I'll just turn it down and we'll just change it. So it's not, like, so there. There you go, just so that when the video is paused.
loose limestone rocks perched directly above him. He is now 100 feet in.
Fuck
And
this.
here he reached.
Why do people like going caving and stuff like that? God, every time I see those videos where like people are going through like caves and they're like barely just getting through like little slits and stuff like that, it's just like the fuck no. Like I'm not claustrophobic or anything. I actually like being in, like wrapped up tightly and everything else. But I'd sleep in a coffin if I could. But they're expensive. But yeah, it's just like, fuck no, caves, nah, I'm good.
Is the turnaround room. Now they call this the turnaround room because this is the juncture where even experienced cavers say, no thanks.
This is 1925 or something, right? That's what I said. It's like early 20th century. Fuck this. Yeah, like a little fucking fuck. I forgot the lantern thing. What it's called. Screw it. What's gonna
And turn around. Because to continue on means going through this. The squeeze. A gap in the stone of only 9 inches.
What? How? I need a measuring tip. How fucking fat is my head? I gotta see. And how wide am I? Like I'm pretty skinny. Can I even fucking fit through that? How big is 9 inches? I need something that's like about 9 inches long. Oh, I think an envelope is basically 9 inches long. Hold up. Let me grab an envelope right here. Like how I just have these on hand. That's great. It's about 9 inches because an inch is like, okay. So I'm just gonna say like this is about an envelope. Oh yeah, my body can actually fit through that. Oh my god, you'll be scraping your head almost though. But yeah, you can easily get through that. I think I've seen oh, hold up. Cave. Oh, I put cave. Cave. Really going to ignore my horrible fucking spelling I just did there. I just went through. Okay, images. I just want to see images. Like, look at this shit. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Like, look at this shit. What's wrong with people? I'm done looking at this. I fucking hate that already. Okay.
For reference, here's a Subway sub.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, fucking Subway subbed it. You know what? Yeah, you could totally get through that. Sounds awful still.
Going through, he would look exactly like this.
Oh, there we go. It fucking shows anyways. How do you get through? Like, why? Why?
His arms will need to be completely at their side, and he will need to exhale so that he can reduce the size of his torso. Gradually, bit by bit, he disappears into the hole. His clothes are caught on sharp gypsum crystals, hooking into him and threatening to hold him in place. Using just his feet, he pushes himself forward. He reaches a wider opening at the other side.
The real...
Then crawls forward towards a ledge. Lit by the lamp is a drop about twice his height. There's already a rope here. He gently climbs down.
There's already... Oh,
His
hey,
worn-out
it was
leather
a convenient
shoes
rope.
touch the ground. This is as far as he can go, and it is time for work to begin. What he is working on is another opening. At the moment, it's too small for anyone to fit through, but he will chip away at it until he can shove himself right through the other side.
No.
Because on the other side is this. An otherworldly cave structure, dripping with pristine white crystals.
That's pretty cool.
Every day for months, he has...
Can I just say, I like how all the photos of this are black and white. That's like no one else has ever gone down this.
has been removing rocks from this crevice. To him, this is all just routine. So he shimmies further into the gap, his body contorting to the shape of the crevice as he wriggles his way in. The wall's becoming so tight that he can no longer use his arms. Then, about halfway, he stops.
Why?
The lantern. It's starting to dim.
What?
He will need to go all the way back to the surface to refuel the thing. He sighs. He slowly shuffles back out, pushing the lantern with his shoulder. Then, oh no, ding, crack, darkness. He has knocked over the lamp, and it
Fuck
is broken.
that.
The man breathed deeply and relaxed. He had been in worse situations before, and he was confident he could navigate his way to the surface through feel alone. He searches around with his feet to find something he can push against. Ah, there's something, he thinks. But what he doesn't know is that he's pressing against a loose rock on the ceiling. As soon as he puts his weight against it, it comes free. A solid piece weighing 15 kilograms lands directly on his ankle. It aches. But he's okay. It doesn't feel as though his ankle is broken, just badly bruised and caught underneath the rock. So he shuffles to move the rock away.
He's... Oh, no.
Gravel. A lot of gravel. It falls onto his feet, his legs, his torso, and the weight of it all forced the rock harder down onto his foot and locks it in place. Every time he tries to move, more rubble falls, holding him tighter. He is stuck.
No. Just...
This is Sand Cave. This man is Floyd Collins.
Yeah?
He is trapped in absolute darkness, 60 feet deep below the earth.
Oh.
All of his
I
limbs
fucking hate this.
held in place.
Ah.
At the very...
I fucking hate this. I fucking hate this. Oh. Hold up. I just gotta fix something. There you go. Oh god,
very bottom.
No. Can you imagine just... I don't want to imagine. We're just gonna
Of
continue with the
this.
video right now. I got nothing else. Holy shit. That's the turnaround room. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the fuck?
But before I tell you what happens next, ad time.
It's
Speaking
sponsor
of people
time.
trapped in a cave, World of Tanks.
Oh my
World of
god.
Tanks is not only the best game I have ever played, it is the only game I have ever played. It's like cars, but tanks. Picture this. You're
What?
a hot new T-34-85M, and you've just joined the battle because some Cromwell B tank-bagged your entire family. It's time for revenge.
Oh my god.
You must use strategy. You must use stealth.
I've
You
never
must
played
use
this
your
game, I'll be
wits to
honest.
defeat your enemies. Use long range or short range. It's available on console, but I want you to get it on PC. Imagine
Cause fuck you, console.
a world war, but there are tanks involved this time. Yeah, now you're getting it. When you've seen as many messed up tanks as I have, you get a little cynical about the world. My god, I'm gonna be sick. Look at all the different tanks.
What?
You can collectomize and customize them all. Massive battles where you can constantly team kill and
Ah,
ruin
oh,
other
okay.
people's good time.
Alright.
Did I men-
Look, okay, I'll be honest. That'd be me. You gotta check to see if there's friendly fire. You have to always check to see if there's friendly fire, okay?
mention it's
I check it every game.
historically accurate, especially the Japanese robot tanks. Ooh, look, the tanks are kissing. Progressive. Use the invite code TANKMANIA and get
What
the
the fuck?
Excelsior. 250k credits. Other stuff. Go to the link in the description. And
I
use
feel
the
so
invite
much
code
better now.
TANKMANIA.
This
Here's
is
what you do.
great.
Get World of Tanks.
I never
Get
thought I'd
that
feel
on
better.
Then, on a
Better 'cause
second
of an ad
monitor,
break.
you'll watch the next hour of this video while you play the game. Perfection. I'm contractually obliged.
For another hour of the video?
to
Holy
say
shit.
Thank you for being a friend.
This video's an hour long?
No. Tank's empty, kid. Go on without me. No, use your repair consumable. It's too late, kid. Tank care of my family for me. No. Get it, 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 get it. Add o- Collins is still in the dark.
Alright, back to
unable
this.
move.
Hour
He can
zero.
feel the sharp
Hour
crystals on the
zero.
ground
Wait, he's in here
poking
for hours.
into his back. The ice melts above him, traces across the ceiling, and drips directly onto his face. He would
Oh,
shield himself
fuck.
against the dripping, except that his right arm is wedged against the roof of the cave, and his left is stuck in place underneath his torso. The cold water.
This is
dripping
just
onto
torture,
him
because isn't that an actual
pools
torture method?
underneath him?
Oh my god,
Thor
it's
took
12
slow,
degrees.
steady breaths in the concentrated dark. When he did attempt to shuffle, more gravel and rocks would tumble from above and pile onto his feet, so nothing would work. He raked his fingers against the wall until blood pooled underneath his nails, and he realized that there was only one option left. Call out for help. But wait. Who is Floyd, and why did he even go into a dangerous cave?
Zero.
Floyd started his caving career
Our
at the
chat- wait,
tender age of
Howard
6.
Oh, how am I?
Growing
I'm doing pretty good, besides me having sudden now anxiety because I'm watching a caving video. From internet history, a guy who's trapped in a cave or something. Oh god, I fucking hate it. But I'm watching it. Anyways, how's it going wild? Oh, also, if you're gonna be on VO chat later on tonight, I'll be drinking. And I'll be playing.
up, exploring the caves of Kentucky was practically all he did.
I guess there's not really much to do in Kentucky, huh? Oh, I guess it's like 1925, whatever, so...
He would go off on his own, disappearing into
I don't think there's really anything to do, actually, in 1925, now that I think
the
of it. Okay,
caves
I'll
for many
stop
hours
pausing
at a
it
time.
now.
Have you seen that movie, The Descent? It was a lot like that. He grew up and he became
I don't think I
embroiled
have,
in
and I don't
the
want to.
Kentucky Cave Wars.
What?
Now, there's way too much to go
What?
into here. But the summary version is, there's this huge network of interconnected caves called Mammoth Caves. It's actually the largest cave system in the world.
Hey,
And there's a
congratulations,
city right
Kentucky,
in
you
the
got
middle
something.
of it. Cave City, real name. So of course, there are dozens of caves
Awesome, yeah. Okay, it's,
entrances on private property.
Oh,
all
you will be?
over
Hell
the
yeah.
Now, farmland
Have
in this
fun with the
region has very
stream in the
poor soil,
meantime. I
and things
will.
do not grow well here.
Fucking
So,
hate
cave tourism as a source of
cave
income quickly became the prominent thing.
So
However,
yeah, I'm
the
right. There's
problem-
nothing to
There
do
are
in Kentucky.
A very large number of
We got caves
but
instead.
there are only a limited number of tourists. So competition rapidly escalated. Visit my cave. No. Visit my cave. Big signs were erected saying, tourists, come to me. Mine is definitely open. Mine is the best. But then
Oh my
competitors would
God,
respond
what?
by saying, hey, by the way, we're open, but don't go to that one over there. It's really shitty. In fact, it's dangerous.
It's
This
really
kept going
shitty.
further. By the end, they were
Come into my cave. Don't go to that one. It's shit. Guys, it's like, oh.
blocking off the trail to each other's property, beating each
What?
other in the streets, and hiring people called cappers who would dress up as policemen and tell tourists, no, you can't go in there. That one.
That's
no, it's
insane.
illegal."
What the fuck
Despite
is
the
full
fierce
on
competition,
fucked up
Floyd
competition?
found a cave on his property and he started advertising it to tourists. Of course, very few came. All right, he thought, what if I found something really
What the
special
fuck?
and unique? Then surely people would have to
Come to
come
my
to
cave, bitch!
to see it. So
Just-
he kept exploring and exploring until he found this hollow. It was filled with big gypsum crystals, and when you were in there, it felt like a completely alien world. But it was barely accessible. This small tunnel is the only way in.
Oh my
He would
god.
need to dig
Ah.
through months to open it up to tourists. But he knew he could do it. Back to the competition. They knew the value of this cave. They knew the potential. They wanted it for themselves, and they wanted Collins gone. A few months prior, a group of 5 men showed up to his farm unannounced.
What the
Hand over that lease, Floyd.
They said. Floyd, of course, refused. So they turned to violence, knocking him down and savaging the
What
homeless
the
man until Homer,
fuck?
Floyd's brother, came running out of the house with a shotgun.
Wait.
Helpless
What's his
man
name?
Until Homer,
Homer.
Floyd's brother, came running out of the house with a shotgun. But Floyd was not deterred. He spent 12 hours a day, every day, for months, clearing
What
gravel
the
and
fuck?
stone.
Homer, yeah.
chipping away
Homer
at
comes
rock.
out with a shotgun.
He would open it up to tourists, make his cave an incredible attraction, and make his dreams come
I thought
true.
that said not safe for work in the background. The not safe for work cave.
So there's Floyd in the dark, yelling out for help, yelling into the pitch black. After a while, his voice would give out, and he would have
So this man, okay, a quick recap for you, Wild. He went through a 9-inch hole, went down to squeeze, whatever it's called, and he went so far. Now he's digging this part out. He tried to get out. He knocked over his lantern, and now he's stuck because gravel's on him. I hate
to
this.
recuperate. He would then wake sometime later, remember where he is, and begin yelling again for help. Here he remained in the dark
Hour
for the next
6? Oh, fuck that.
23 hours.
He has water dripping on him this whole time too, like on his face.
Quickly, you might wonder, how
23.
come no one's come for him after 23 hours? Well, Sand Cave resides on a 200-acre farm. There are several homes on this property with other families. One of them, of course, is Colin's house, where Floyd's
Yeah.
father, Lee, resides. Now, Lee and Floyd constantly get into fights about how to run things. Lee wants his
Okay.
son to concentrate on farming, and Floyd wants to concentrate on cave tourism. Arguments would often
I want to be a
and
cave
Lee was
tourist.
also
What the?
a bit of a drunk. It was doubtful that he would even notice if his son Floyd was missing. Also,
Oh,
not
I don't know what my
everything,
son is. Oh my
Floyd
god.
regularly lodged at 2 other homes on the farm. So when he didn't return to one host, they would presume that he was staying with the other. And even worse
Man,
still,
this has 3
he was
different
known to
fucking.
occasionally sleep in the cave.
Oh
doing
my
stints of up to
god.
30 hours in there without resurfacing.
He's fucked.
Regardless, around the 23-hour mark, a few locals started to suspect that, hey, something might be wrong, and they went to check up on him. And here, they spotted his jacket, still hung up. Unusual. They went deeper.
Unusual.
However, there was only one person small enough to make it as far as the turnaround room. This was a 17-year-old Jewel
Yeah.
Estes.
So this is the
He
turnaround
refused to go
room,
into
and
the
that's
screen.
a 9-inch
But
hole.
If he yelled, Floyd would probably hear him.
Lloyd.
And Collins yelled back. Estes emerges
God, a
from the
whole
cave.
day.
Okay, we know he's trapped, and we know where he is.
So, a whole troop of locals show up. Out of my way. Say a bunch of men who would confidently charge into the cave. But once they reach the final squeeze,
Nope. Nope.
Fuck that shit.
Nope.
they would
I would agree on that. I would look at them and go, nope.
saying
And,
things like,
and I'm small.
There's no way any man could fit in there.
out of my way, they would say as they were heading in the reverse direction. So a few more hours
Yeah,
passed.
like
Word
I'm
would
pretty
spread
small.
around
I
Cave
could
City
definitely fit
and
that
the
probably
neighboring
9-inch hole.
areas.
Fuck that shit.
Slowly,
Uh-uh,
a
I'm good.
crowd formed outside Sand Cave. Over in Louisville,
Hours.
Floyd's 22-year-old brother, Homer, he gets a phone call.
It's Homer.
Hello? I see. My brother. He's trapped in a cave? I'm on my way.
Homer jumps on a coach. And
I
makes
love the way that
way
his
to
videos are edited.
Floyd's cave.
This is so entertaining.
Homer struts up to the scene. He walks past the growing crowd.
There's a fucking party happening outside. What the fuck?
Of unhelpful onlookers and makes a beeline for the cave to save his brother.
Hey, on the bright side, this is like a lot of PR for the cave, right? Everyone's just like, damn, he's trapped. This is a cool cave now.
In he goes, down the chute, through the narrowing passages, down on his hands and knees towards the turnaround room. And when he arrives,
Oh, you gotta be on your hands and knees
he
just to
does
get to
not
this room.
hesitate. He squeezes into the hole,
Ah,
scrambles
no.
his way through to the ledge on the other side. He sees Floyd.
Oh, yeah,
below
then- and then there's a
slides
10-foot
down to
drop.
meet him.
Floyd!
Sup?
Right, probably wasn't that capable.
Floyd.
Homer took a moment to shine his light around the area and assess the situation. It was not good. This rock formation is going to prove almost impossible to work around.
Oh.
Alright, so let's have a look.
Uh-huh.
Floyd is here. The
Yes.
rock is here, pinning his ankle. He's surrounded by rubble, and there's a
Yep.
pocket of gravel above him, ready to fall. However,
Oh, I
because
should
this
check that out.
rock
I
is
haven't seen that
so
yet.
small, there are only two viable ways of reaching Floyd and that gravel. Option 1, the most obvious, feet first. But if you do this, you have to kind of
Yeah.
squat, and your own torso obstructs access to the rubble. Otherwise, option 2, come down head first. That will give you better access, but
God.
you're trying to move hundreds of pounds of gravel.
Oh my
upside
god,
down.
how the fuck does he get
Worse
out?
yet, there's barely an inch around Collins on either side, so good luck getting your arm down near Floyd's ankle to actually free him from the wedged rock. Homer whips around and yells.
Quickly! Some food and drink!
They send it through. But first, Homer gives Floyd a liter of coffee to warm him up. Then, as many sausage sandwiches as he can stomach, he manages to down 9 of them.
Damn.
Dietary advice has changed since the 1920s.
Yep. Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Then Homer went to task. He began removing rocks and
Anxiety
gravel, tiny
gains.
scoop at a time,
Yeah, I
with the
agree.
help of an old syrup can.
As a syrup can. Hey, there's an actual like newer photo of it. Look at that. Instead of all the
For the next 8 hours he toiled, first with hands, then, once enough was cleared, using a crowbar to scoop behind his brother, scraping away sharp protrusions as he went. It was slow progress.
Oh, I
Virtually
bet.
futile.
How many
While
hours
holding
would
up
this
his
be?
body weight with
Oh wait, we're at
one
hour
arm, he would have to
42.
use the other
We're almost 2
to
days
scoop
in.
away gravel.
Holy
Then,
shit!
whilst new gravel would suddenly fall from above and undo all the work. Homer stayed for as long as he could, but after several hours, he was ragged. His teeth chattered uncontrollably, his lungs choked with dust, and the skin on his fingers shredded from the rubble. However,
Oh my
something new.
god.
By the time Homer reached outside, he was surprised to see a mob of approximately 100 men and women standing around, drinking, squabbling, and talking big game about how they too were going to save Floyd. The press was also present.
I love how his brother's just down there, fucking working his ass off. Like Homer's down there trying to get his brother out and everything else, and then and everyone else is up top having a party, drinking, going, "Yeah, we're gonna save him." So Homer, you gonna go back in now? Americans be like,
To help people gawk from
Yeah.
afar.
oh,
Homer
fuck.
shunned them all and rested up.
You can tell that this is in Kentucky, right? Yeah. Right? That's what I said. Anyways, you can tell there's nothing to do in this town. There is nothing. Everyone's doing this for 2 days now. There's dick all to do in this town.
In a small tent in front of the cave.
About here. Okay.
Strangers immediately
That's
crowded
what-
around him to ask innocent but, frankly, frustrating questions and offer unsolicited, obvious advice as well as wildly
Oh
impractical
my
solutions.
god, I just love that.
Listen, you just have to untie his shoes. Free the foot, free the man, right, fellas?
No.
What?
Let's hire a contortionist. We get a hammer and a chisel. We'll have him back by supper.
Ah, we should jerk him off, right, guys? All right.
guys, I know. Okay, look, Homer, I know how to get your brother out of the hole. We're gonna jack him off. He will lose. If we jack him off and he loses all that load, boom, skinnier, we get him out. That's there. Yeah. Yeah, like from 1925, there's even less to do.
I made that thing.
Like, at least now they got the
You
internet.
get the idea. A lot of these guys are drunk, by the way. So the discussions
Oh,
very
yeah.
quickly went from 0 to 100. Hey, new idea. How about dynamite? We'll simply blow him out. One group formed, insisting it was a great idea, and another saying, no, the explosion will kill him, and the weight of the new rocks will surely crush him. They shouted at each other for a while, until someone suggested, hey, how about gas torches? We can use acetylene torches.
No, that's an awful idea.
Hole bigger. No. That'll cook him, or the gas will fill the cave and kill everyone inside. They fought over that too. But by far the most common suggestion was to simply cut off the foot. Never mind that the foot itself was unreachable.
Yeah.
Never mind that he'd lose so much blood he might not make it back to the surface. And never minding even more that Floyd was strongly reluctant to the idea.
Whatever you do, don't cut my foot off.
Oh
Homer could
my
have easily
god.
ignored all of this pointless bickering, except that not one of them would just brave the damn cave and continue shoveling away the gravel. The formula was always the
Yeah,
same.
see, told you.
Bold, fearless men would strut into the cave with sandwiches and blankets, then reach the turnaround room and immediately lose their nerve, then dump it all outside of the hole, and then return back outside and go, oh, absolutely. No, he says, thanks for the food. Thank you so much. Young
Oh
one.
my god, what
No
dickheads.
one would go through that squeeze.
Ooh, wait,
Dozens more men would try.
that's the hole. Hold up.
Would go.
That's the hole. Oh, you can't see my mouse. That's right. Hold up. My bad. Play capture properties. Let me turn my mouse back on. Okay, that's the hole right there. Fuck that. Also, I like how I think these are all the bottles and sandwiches and shit. Like, it was just left out there.
Go through that squeeze.
Fuck
Dozens more
that.
men would try.
Fuck that.
All of them would fail.
Not failed. They would just bitch out and go, nope, I'm good.
February 2nd.
I'd be able to fit 100%. I could fit all the way down and all the way up. The only thing is, fuck that shit. No, I'm good. I'm not going down. I can fit. I'm not going down.
9 a.m. So far, Homer has been the only person who has been face to face with Floyd, and that would continue to be.
Although at the same time though, I'm not gonna talk a big game going, yeah, we're gonna rescue him and everything else. Yeah, we're all gonna do that, and then go, nope, no, I wouldn't do that. I would go, I'll see. Let's see. Okay, no, we need someone else.
True until here we are at the Louisville Courier. There's a spirited young newshawk named William Miller.
William
He's talking to
Miller.
his boss, and he's trying to convince him that it's a great idea for him to cover the story of the
Why does
man
boss look like a
trapped in
mob
cave.
boss?
Listen up, boss. I'm hearing talk of a man in a cave. He's stuck down there.
I'm gonna spat out my drink when he did the finger thing. Oh
Aaron,
fuck.
I want to get down there too. Get to the nitty gritty, you hear?
This is an opportunity for some good PR, Miller. I'm in. But I want us to sponsor that
I'm
rescue.
in.
Picture this. Man saved from cave by Louisville Courier, the finest newspaper in the state. Ah, that'll drum up plenty of interest.
24
Hell yeah.
karat idea, boss. I'll make it happen. I'll get down there toot sweet.
So off Miller goes to Floyd's cave.
Oh, this is great.
Back
I know
over
that
at the
voice.
cave,
I just.
outside
He sounds like a
trying
radio
to-
announcer
as
or
Miller
whatever, like an
wanders up.
old radio
Homer is
announcer.
not interested in giving an interview. He wants someone to help. So as Miller asks questions,
Eh?
Homer tries his best to show contempt.
sure?
Frustrated, Homer bluntly says,
Listen, you want more information? The hole's right behind me. Why don't you go take a look yourself?
Miller thinks for a moment, then says, yeah, all right. He grabs
All
a
right,
knife
let's go.
And crouches down to enter the cave.
Hold up. Do you think William is going to go all the way there? Or before hundreds of men too big to fit in a hole? Yeah.
As he walked, cold water filled his shoes. He was stepping.
God, there's
on
no
newly
way he's
formed
wearing
puddles.
proper stuff.
That water is coming from the inside of the cave as the temperature slowly increases and the frost inside melts.
Oh,
The stable environment of the cave is starting to change.
Oh no.
This thanks in no small part to the growing crowd of Gawkers.
It's
To
because
stay
everyone
warm,
has
they were
fucking
building
fires
and
everywhere.
hanging around the entrance of the cave.
What
to shelter
dickheads?
from the elements. But nonetheless, Miller presses on, and all that's left is that final squeeze.
Come on, Miller, be a
and he's
Chad.
there.
Be a Chad.
He takes a moment and decides to call out to Floyd.
Floyd!
Hearing there is someone on the other side, he feels
Hey.
ashamed not to try. Into the dark he went.
He just all like, I'm a
The
Chad,
9-inch
bitch. He
squeeze.
fucking goes.
The crystal gypsum cuts
Granted,
into
this
his elbows
is
and
funny.
tugs at his
But she's
clothes.
stuck in it plate. No.
He gets snagged. He's spluttering through the pools of muddy water. He stops, collects himself, and pushes on. He can barely
This
inhale.
fucking Chad is just like,
If he
fuck
gets
this.
stuck
I
in
got
here,
this shit.
He can only hope that someone else can come in from behind and pull him out by the legs. But eventually, he makes it through. Fantastic. He is now on his belly,
This is
looking down
insane.
at Floyd. He sat right next to Floyd, ready to interview him. But Floyd didn't really answer any of his questions. At the moment, he is sitting in a pool of water that is 12 degrees, slowly sapping his body temperature. He is dying from exposure. The cold is diminishing Floyd's mental faculties, and he can barely make sentences. There's nothing Miller can do, so he hurriedly turns around. He worked his way back through the squeeze, past the turnaround room, and out into the daylight.
It's all dirty. I
Homer
thought it was
turns
blood.
to
I was gonna say
Miller.
blood. It was dirt.
Proof that he had made it all the way to Floyd is soaked onto his mud-stained clothes. No longer frustrated with the young reporter, instead, he excitedly runs over to him.
You and me. Together, we can get Floyd out of there.
We can do this.
Now,
You're
he
also a
will
Chad. Come on.
help rescue Floyd. Now, helping with the rescue was not the only thing
75?
that Miller did for Floyd. Perhaps even more crucially, his reporting was responsible for turning Floyd into a nationwide story. Miller took interviews,
That's good
relayed
PR.
first-person accounts, and would spend many hours with Floyd himself in that cave. He gave an insight into the story that only a first-person account could, and in turn gave the public a figure who they
God
would deeply
damn. 70
relate
plus
to.
hours.
Updates to the story.
Yeah,
would
he's
be
still
printed
stuck there
in
too. It's been
over
75 hours and he's
1,000
still
local
fucking
and national
there.
Newspapers. You couldn't escape.
God.
It was also the era when radio became a regular feature for regular Americans. Radio allowed something new.
This is when radio came
hourly
out. My God.
updates, letting people get
The
engrossed into
America's
the story.
finest radio.
So, mostly thanks to Miller, the story of Floyd over the next week would grow and grow. And everybody wanted to know, will this man make it?
He's still stuck, and the story's coming out. Holy
Back
fuck.
outside the cave,
I
someone
thought that
new
they-
entered the story. Robert Burton. He would become the third man to reach Floyd.
Firefighter.
A firefighter from Louisville. Thin framed, but muscular. He got scratched up pretty good and soaked by the pooling water. But he made it through
America-
with little fuss, and he
Yeah, once again,
quickly lowered
America.
himself down to Floyd's
Hey,
position.
hey, hey. We have
It was
3
not
people
an
that will go down there.
optimistic
His
sight.
brother,
Floyd's
a
condition was
firefighter,
deteriorating.
and
Well, we've got a heck of a problem
What do
here.
you call him?
But I think I
Reporter.
can get you out with a rope.
Floyd nods in approval.
Go on.
We might just pull your bloody leg off.
Just pull my leg off then. Get me out of here.
Burton returned to the set
Just do it!
to the crowd. He announced,
We will attempt a rope pull.
I don't know if that's a good idea. You're just gonna tear his foot off.
"Yeah, hold on. What about the sharp rocks? Raking through all that, and there'll barely be a body left to bring to the surface." A physician stepped forward with authority. "The ligaments in the foot are strong, but if you pull on the torso without a harness, all you'll likely do is tear his internal organs. but Floyd is dying of exposure down there.
Ah.
The situation is becoming desperate. Burden put caution to the side.
The time for strategy is over. Now we try brute force.
We're done with strategy. Fuck this. We're tying him brute force. If his organs go, his organs go. Oh shit. What were they doing? They're both at the 10. What were they doing? Oh, 4 more hours. This is just his life right now. This is just his life. What the fuck are we looking at? It's like a dream now. God, I'd go mad. I'm gonna be honest. I'd fucking panic like so hard. Is this fucking hours at that point? It's just get him out, yeah.
Floyd! Floyd! We're here. We're gonna get you out of here.
After
That's
several
what you
hours
said
of
30
cold,
hours
he was
ago.
delirious, fading in and out of consciousness.
Well, maybe more. I forget. Like 40
We're
hours
gonna
ago,
put
actually.
the special harness around you. Burden and Miller, they're here too. We got 3 more boys right up the cave, and they're all ready to pull as hard as they can to get you out of here.
Floyd was frightened.
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna hurt.
No one knew quite.
It's gonna hurt.
Floyd was given some food, some coffee, a large swig of whiskey, and a sedative. That sedative would keep him calm if his ankle bone is snapped or the skin on his foot is peeled off. Floyd took the opportunity
No.
to appreciate being surrounded by friends and family.
Go on. Do it.
All right, strap him up.
Homer
Let me
attached a
Get that
harness.
on him. Yeah, it's a good
He
question.
ties on the rope. Miller gives the signal.
It is somehow though.
Burden gives the final all clear.
Ready?
Everybody braced for the tug of war. Cave versus man. The winner
Ah.
gets Floyd.
Ah! The winner gets Floyd. Fuck. This is.
2,
Do it.
1.
Pull.
The force of 6 men pulled against the clutches.
I
of
guess it's like a proper harness. I
Floyd
thought they was
began
gonna
to
tie a
swing.
rope around him, but no, it's a
His
full-on
body
harness.
was being pulled up from the rubble. The gravel was beginning to shift. Burden's calls echo through the cave.
Pull harder.
Floyd screamed harder as well. Alright, so Floyd is trapped
What?
lying down like this. But the pulling of the rope wrenches him up like this.
Yeah, they're shoving him onto
His
that.
torso was being
Get a pulley
compressed and
system or
bent
something.
against the ceiling of the trap.
I guess you can't really. There's not really much.
Floyd's screaming intensified, and through gasps was begging them to stop. But it did not stop. The agony continued,
Oh my God! Fuck!
with no progress.
Enough! Enough! You guys are killing him!
Homer quickly spun around and started pulling against the other men. He threw his legs onto the rocks and propelled himself backwards. 1 man versus 5.
I said stop!
Coursing with adrenaline, he pulled the rope free from their clasp. The tug of war was over. The cave had won. Floyd fell back down. Homer, Miller, Burden, and the other 3 men were flat on
Fuck!
their backs.
Half of Floyd. Yeah, just get half of Floyd. There we go. See.
The cave
just
would
just
not let
split
this
it.
man go.
The cave gets half
The
of him.
futility of the situation.
And you guys get the
sank
other
in,
half.
And all they could do was leave for now and rest. Outside, the number of spectators had increased to 200. They buzzed.
What
against
the
useless
fuck?
content, and Homer walked dejectedly past them. He sat by thinking what he could do. The cause seemed hopeless.
Homer?
Then, someone showed up who could turn things around. He
Who's
looked
this
up
guy?
to see a childhood friend of both his and Floyd's, Johnny Gerald. He was just the man for the job. He
Was
an
he?
experienced caver, and he was an experienced cave-trapped person rescuer.
All right.
Wow, that's
Damn.
a fucking
Well,
name.
Look who it is.
Floyd perked up immediately,
Yay.
thrilled to see Gerald. The
Yay.
sparkle from Floyd's gold tooth could be seen in his smile.
All right. Let's see what we can do.
Gerald jumped down. And then, for the next 3 hours, Gerald went back to the original plan of digging away the rocks.
3 more
His stamina
hours.
was good, and progress was surprisingly good as well. For several more hours,
Yeah, why did they
he
just keep
continued.
like wait, hold up. I just got pause for a second. Why didn't they just keep digging him out? Because what I got from this is that they just stopped. And then they try to pull
Moving
okay.
stone after stone. New one would fall in its place, and he'd move that one too. By midnight, he had enough room to shift position
86
and clear some
hours.
of the gravel that was at each side of Floyd's body. Gerald would spend several more hours scooping.
87.
It worked.
Oh my god.
Slowly,
Think
more
for
and more
8
of
hours
Floyd's
now.
body was coming free from the rubble. The lower shoulders, his chest, even his hips and thighs. It was incredible progress.
My
But
god,
no,
this guy, he's just like, don't worry.
Going
I
until
got you. They
practically
should call this guy.
half the
Oh,
rubble,
I guess they can't call it. It's
except a few
1925.
harder to reach piles down
Oh
by
no,
his
they
legs,
can. They do have
remained.
fun. That's right.
The relief from the weight made it significantly easier for Floyd to breathe and flex his limbs.
Yeah, because that's on his chest.
Over the course of those few hours,
God, do you know-
Gerald managed
can
to
you imagine
scoop
having
up
an
more
itch?
than 1,000 pounds of debris.
What?
There's still a lot more to go. And that
Oh.
rock by Floyd's foot was still holding him in place. By 2 a.m., Gerald was spent. He needed rest, and he was ready to head back outside.
Floyd, tomorrow you're gonna be a free man.
Now, here you might think that things will become straightforward. They did not.
96
Now that space had been
hours!
Cleared, Burden became convinced
Ah!
that if he could get down that passage again,
No.
he could free Floyd with another rope pull. Fate deciding with both feet or just one. So Burden marches up to the cave once again. But when he tried to enter, they shoved him in the other direction. The crowd was acting as a sort of phalanx, and anyone who tried to get in was told to get lost. They had been specifically instructed to not let anyone in, and they were especially opposed to Burden making another rope pull after word
Yeah, I'd
spread
probably be
about the
opposed,
disaster of
honestly,
the first
too.
attempt.
I would
He
absolutely.
tried to reason with them,
Let me
Change
try
that
the
up.
rope pull again. It'll
Yeah.
work this time.
but they would not hear
Dead
it.
chainsaw. Oh my god, look at
Three
all
other
those people.
who could reach him. Gerald and Homer are out exhausted and sick, which leaves only Miller, who is tied up with work. With Burden barred from entering, Floyd was left on his own, wondering why it was that no one would visit him.
Hello? Is
Oh
anyone
yeah, he's
there?
just staying there. Like, no one's coming to go, hey, what's up, buddy? Fuck, just talk to himself. Oh my god, 100 hours. We reached 100 hours.
The work Miller was doing was handing over reports to his boss about Sand Cave. Those reports would be fed through the news grapevine to the Associated Press, and the Associated Press would send that out to its
God,
very
all the
large
wires are
affiliate
like all over
network.
the place back
The
then.
word was spreading about Floyd. By afternoon, Miller was done with his work and he hurried back to the cave. So he gets inside and, his eyes didn't have to work half as hard to adjust to the dark. Someone had installed electric lights from the entrance right all the way down to
Don't those
Floyd.
give off a good amount of heat though back then?
Miller popped down to the lower level.
Ah, Floyd, fancy seeing you here, buddy.
When Miller reached Floyd, he took the final bulb and attached it to his collar to keep him warm. Then, reusing
Yeah,
that
okay,
syrup
that's cool.
tin, he started offloading gravel.
Damn, this syrup
into
tin's getting a
buckets.
lot of
Those
work.
buckets were then passed up and down the cabin, like an assembly line. And so it went on for the next few hours. Until he was too tired and needed to rest. Miller then took some time to have a bit of a one-on-one with Floyd. He said, you know, there are a lot of people in the news that are reading about you and have you in their prayers. Is there anything you want me to relay?
Floyd got this. Hey,
Floyd had been in that cave for over 100 hours now.
is
And
this
seeing
gonna distract me?
everyone
Okay.
working together, Floyd
ever
was
gonna distract
overcome
me
with a
again.
sense of hope and relief. Floyd wanted to pass on a message. Here is what he is quoted in the newspaper.
I believed I would go to heaven. I can feel that I'm to be taken out alive and with both my feet. I kept thinking,
You're-
what would happen if the rock
You're loving
above me
the
would
new
fall?
look.
It caused me to shudder.
Oh yeah.
I kept thinking to drive my mind to something
I
else.
gotta edit the
Wasn't much
texture a bit
use.
more of like on
I couldn't do
on the
much
Jackson
to
stuff.
help those who came to help me, but I knew that a lot of people were willing to do all in their power. It gave me courage. Tuesday morning, I thought to myself, 4 days down here, and no nearer freedom than I was on the first day. How will it end? Will I get out? I couldn't think of it. I have faced
God,
death
I mean-
before. It doesn't frighten me, but it is so long. Tell them I am not going to give up. Tell them I'm going to fight and be patient and never forget them.
Meanwhile, news of the incident kept growing. The entire country was captivated by Floyd's story. Crowds huddled around newspaper stands each morning and afternoon, waiting to get any new drips of information. It became a water cooler topic. Did you catch the latest episode of Game of Caves? He had the prayer...
What's up? Hey, Deacon. Oh my god. This is probably like the most entertainment that, like, the most anything that someone that has happened in this town, I mean.
power of practically every church in the county. Even the upper echelons of government were keeping tabs on Floyd. Congress held a session to get their little updates, and even the president, Calvin Coolidge, took a glancing interest. By the end...
So, Americans in chat, have you guys ever heard of that president? I'm Canadian, so it's fine that I don't know this. Oh my god.
The Floyd Collins incident would explode into the third largest non-political story between World War I and World War II. All of this excitement brought an inundation of people to Cave City. Old population, 690. Yawn. New population, 10,000.
What the fuck?
The bank vaults ran empty as people withdrew cash to spend around town. But they wouldn't have much to spend it on, because restaurants didn't even have enough stock to feed all the new customers. Practically every hotel room in the county was taken, so residents capitalized with a 1920s version of Airbnb and charged outrageous fees.
You already started
to
the
offer
drinking?
places to
Nice,
sleep on
nice.
their bedroom floor
I'll probably start a
or
little
in
bit.
mattress-lined bathtubs. And 4,500 automobiles impatiently sat, backed up for 2 miles.
Why?
from
It's a
20
guy in a
different
cave!
states to drive
You have
onto the
nothing to...
Collins
It's
farm,
1925,
tuning
they got
up all
nothing
the
else to do.
pristine green fields with their tires and turning them into brown muck paddocks. Deep below all those tourists, there's Miller, trying to free Floyd. Alright, a little bit of setup. Floyd, Miller, some remaining rubble, rock. For anyone to lift the rock by hand would be impossible because Floyd's body obstructs the hole. Miller grabs a crowbar and shoves it through the gap. Now he's going to lever it off Floyd's foot. Cool. The crowbar is now primed in place.
Okay.
Next, he takes a jack. He positions it on top of the crowbar so that it will be forced
Can you imagine it
against
falling?
the ceiling.
Like, like
However, problem. That jack is too big. It
oh,
doesn't fit.
absolutely it's too big.
Miller yells up the tunnel for a smaller one, but this took some time. And when it arrived, too small, won't reach the ceiling. But instead of sending for another one, Miller takes
But the nice
2
thing
blocks
is,
of wood
yeah,
and
yeah,
bolsters
you
them
just put wood.
underneath the crowbar. Right, so the crowbar now sits higher. It
Oh, I
fulcrums
would probably would
against
have
the
put him actually on
blocks,
top of the jack.
And the jack
but
is sitting on top.
But that works.
All Miller has to do is expand the jack, which he will do using this spanner, holding it at the very tips of his fingers. Sounds easy. It's not. But that's the
No, it's
plan.
not. Have you ever used a
Let's get
jack?
him out of there. He turned the wrench. The
Oh, it's a
jack
turning
stopped,
wrench.
and
Oh,
the
it's even
crowbar
worse. I thought it was a
took
pull down.
strain. The whole thing slid apart with a pang.
I thought
Floyd
it would.
wasn't hurt, but Miller was contorting and exerting his whole body from back to fingertip.
Ah.
I tried again. Same result. Undeterred,
Yeah, that thing's
Miller
not gonna
caught his
stay.
breath and gave it another shot. He slowly turned.
Hell yeah,
the
let's
jack.
go.
Pressure building. And this time,
Oh.
Miller could feel the rock move. It bloody moved. He kept turning the wrench and the rock moved a little more. His hands were shaking, knees weak, his arms are heavy.
Mom spaghetti.
One of the wood blocks flew out. It all scattered apart. The rock painfully slammed back down on Colin's foot.
You'll get it next time, Miller. Try again.
Miller kept on trying. Countless attempts. He kept
God.
pushing himself deeper into the trap, finding new approaches. Damn the blocks. No, try the blocks again. Clear some more rubble. Floyd, unable to help physically, is supporting him in spirit at least, cheering him on.
You got this.
And Miller kept going
Woo!
and going and going until he had nothing left. For the next 4 hours he tried. No progress. Miller was exhausted. He couldn't do this on his
The
own.
cheers is hilarious.
But he was the only one
You
slim
got
enough to
this.
get in through the gap. The group decided to concede for now and return to the surface. They would take just a small break, But it looked to everyone like there was a clear way to get this man out. So Miller and Burden crawled back through the mud and the wines of the cave. As they made their way through, the cave was visibly sagging. The ceiling seemed lower. Parts were harder to navigate than before.
Oh,
doubly so with
shit.
their bruised and rock-shredded hands. They stepped outside and took in the fresh country air. But as their eyes adjusted to the light, they saw something new. A man named Henry Carmichael was standing in front of a
this
sizable
guy?
crowd of engineers in hard hats and soldiers in military uniform.
They got the military over here!
Of the Kentucky Rock Asphalt
What
Company.
the fuck?
The engineers are his employees, and the men in military garb are the National Guard.
The National
Carmichael
Guard?
has
What
been
the?
quietly looking at the situation from afar, and he is thoroughly unimpressed. This is no rescue operation. Once Miller and Co. call it quits, Carmichael had 2 of his employees do a proper survey of the cave and see if it was suitable to bring in his whole team of men. The 2 surveyors go in. As the passage led down to Floyd, it was showing alarming signs of deterioration. You could see the splitting of the rock above. Boards were slipping out of place or splintering. Small rocks tumbled down the walls. They soon came back with a report. It was not good. Alright, so the following is a recounting of events from one of Carmichael's men.
Yeah, I'm really
Casey
psychic
Jones.
sometimes.
Casey and
That's
other
why I
workers
usually just
spent
pull it
about
up.
an
I
hour
don't
in
really
the
use the
cave,
app that much. I actually just
surveying
pull it
its
up
condition,
on
looking
not
at the
Google,
boards,
but
the ceiling,
Opera
the
GX.
stability of the walls. Casey continued deeper towards Floyd. He was fighting against his nerves. The shifting of the rock
Opera GX
pinned
has
his every
actual
instinct to flee.
desktop site.
But he could hear
Turn on.
Floyd calling out for help in the distance. Summoning all of his courage, he pushed himself on. Through the final squeeze and over the ledge that looked down on Floyd. Rubble continued to drop from the ceiling, bouncing all around him.
This is now like on
The
a
ceiling
time
felt closer
scale.
to him than it was before, but maybe that was just the dark playing tricks.
Please, come down.
I can't right now, Floyd, but I will when I get back.
Now Casey is being pulled in 2 directions.
No, come back. Come on. Let's get out of here already.
Please, I'm so thirsty.
Okay,
Casey climbed down next to Floyd.
quick, drink.
There,
Said Casey as he tried to pour some coffee into Floyd's mouth. But Floyd turned his head and kept his lips pursed. The rocks were falling at a faster rate now. The loud cracking out above.
there's like a time limit
In
now.
that moment,
This is fuck.
Casey realized what was happening. Floyd was not really asking for a drink. Floyd knew that a cave-in was inevitable. Scared and approaching his 5th day trapped, he was completely at his wit's end. He knew he was about to be trapped in that cave, and he didn't want to be trapped alone.
For God's sake, Casey, come on. You're gonna
Yeah,
get us
yeah,
killed.
yeah.
Stay
The
with me, please. Don't
just
leave.
Opera GX
Casey
on the
quickly
phone
turned
gives
away
you an
and scrambled
actual
back up
desktop
the
site
ledge.
with every
He made
with,
his way back
with
through the
everything.
final squeeze, his limbs scrambling against
But yeah,
the
I
cave
use-
walls. It seemed as if
I use both
everything
on the phone,
around
so.
him was shrinking.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
made it out,
It
and
brings
he
out
joined
an
his
actual
co-worker.
desktop site, which is fucking
They both
great.
turned around and watched on in horror as the yellow of the bulb was being swallowed by the dark. Rubble fell fast and heavy until no light
This is
could see
fucked.
at all. Rocks blocked out Floyd's panicked cries. The one route to Floyd was now sealed shut, a tomb of rock and dust. It's morning.
Holy
Burden and Miller jump out of their tents, ready for the day. They're feeling optimistic. Today will be the day that they get Floyd out of there. And they're packing some new tools to help them with the job. Wire to wrap around the wooden blocks.
Yeah,
that'll
he just
stop
wanted
them
some
from slipping,
company for like
and
his
a
last
blowtorch
moments,
to
basically.
carve away some of the rock, make the hole a bit bigger. But when Miller got to the turnaround room, all of that optimism left him. The entrance to the squeeze was now just a pile of debris.
Ah!
Miller froze.
You know what's
staring
interesting?
at it
If
for a
people
long
didn't
while.
have all those campfires,
Then he
I
sighed
wouldn't have
and
happened.
did the only thing he could think. Make an opening through that rubble.
This fucking
But the more he
chat.
raked away, the more fell in its place. It was never ending. He persisted, ignoring the danger around him. Thud. a large piece of debris landed on him. Luckily, it was only dried clay. He is uninjured. But recognizing the danger, Miller returned to the surface. 15 minutes later, he emerged from the cave with a bloodied up nose and bruises down his back and shoulders. Burden caught sight and races over to him. Miller just says, "For God's sake, don't let anyone go back in there." Miller leaves the site. Burden doesn't know what to do. Over at the house, Homer is terribly ill and out of action. And that just leaves...
Do they get him out?
Gerald.
What?
Now he comes marching up when he hears the news, and he is livid. He told the crowds to keep away or the whole thing would cave in, and they didn't listen. Then exactly that thing happened. And what were they supposed to do now? The rest of the day was spent squabbling and bickering.
Yeah,
over
it's like literally because of everyone.
No, you caused the cave in.
Oh, cave your bloody head in, mate!
And Floyd
What
spent
the
the rest of that day alone.
Yeah, they can't even get food or water down to him anymore either.
The
Fuck.
surveyors continued checking the cave throughout the day. At 6 p.m., Carmichael had ordered everyone to an assembly. Gerald took the floor. He was going to give this one last shot. Gerald addressed the crowd.
Listen up. There's death down there. The walls and ceilings are crumbling. Unless you're determined to take the biggest chance you ever took in your life, tell me now and stay outside.
Next, they told all the Gawkers to get the hell out of the cave. Clear off. And so, Gerald went in and out of that cave half a dozen times, working away at the rubble, blocking access
God.
to
It's not just like,
leaving only
piss
those
off.
suspected
Get the fuck
about
out of
the
here.
cave-in, or to get food and water. Men on the sidelines were supplying new timber. A group of men helped Gerald to prop up the ceiling and guard against further collapse. Gerald toiled away at the pile, eager to reach his friend. He worked steadily, mindful of the danger poised right above him. Bit by bit, he reduced that pile until a light. He called out, yelling updates through the hole.
Bad news. We can't reach you, but hold on. We're coming.
Gerald continued. The pile got smaller still.
God,
gap
and the
was
fact that
large
he
enough now
cannot
that
actually
Gerald
move.
thought he might be able
After
to
this, I'd probably have the biggest stretch of my life.
That's enough. Floyd, I'm going for now. But when I get back, I'm gonna get you out of there.
Gerald scrambled back out the cave, over to the men, and through panted breaths he said,
Gather the equipment, and in an hour's time, it's gonna be me and Floyd coming out of that cave.
That's more than an hour
Gerald
time.
entered Sand Cave for his final time.
I'm
The
excited about
walls
this.
had been reinforced, but mud and water was accumulating everywhere. He waded through it and pressed on past the danger of the sagging ceiling. With determination on his face and a grease gun clutched in his right hand, he scrambled towards Floyd. But before the final squeeze, he stopped. It was all gone. Another cave-in, even worse than the first. He thought about how he could have been on the other side of that rubble. His mind raced, weighing out what to do. He shouted.
Floyd!
As a not-so-subtle reminder of the danger he was in, a rock fell from the ceiling and cracked Gerald across the head. Luckily, just a small one. He felt around for blood and kept shouting.
Floyd!
He could definitely hear a voice, but it was faint.
But
Gerald
what?
was scared that this was Floyd's last shot at rescue, and he threw himself against the pile and pulled it away with finger and nail, launching the debris behind him with force, tearing at the pile like a man on fire. Dust bellowed, rocks flew, and he kept shouting out for Floyd
I
as
don't know
he
what to
went,
say. I'm just watching.
until finally the cave had had enough. It let loose a large, jagged rock aimed straight at Gerald, striking him on his back. Gerald stumbled out of that cave, injured and defeated.
Oh my god. Ah! 100. Oh my god. It's.
Only after the cave-ins did they start to think about all of the things that they could have done.
Wait, why didn't we rig a portable telephone line? That would have been incredibly simple here in 1925.
Yeah, why have we been running in and out to deliver updates?
Why didn't we give him an AM radio? He could have had something to listen to and receive messages of support from the public.
Wait, why don't we rig up a tarpaulin so we could lift his torso up so he wouldn't be slowly dying of exposure? Oh God, why didn't we run a feeding tube? That's also a technology we have in 1925.
Too late. Now what? The one route to get to Floyd.
God, look at all this stuff that
is
we could have done in
closed
1925.
forever.
Did we do it? No.
That meant
Instead,
two
we just got it.
options.
We just partied outside and
Number
got drunk.
Capitulation. Surrender him to the cave. Or number 2. Dig down from directly above Floyd. Now, the prospect of digging from above seemed
Wait.
fanciful.
Yeah, if the
At
cave's
least
fucked.
It did in the beginning, but luckily,
Oh, no.
they had some help. Owing to Miller's reporting,
Oh?
Floyd had become practically the most famous person in the country. The rescue had become a high priority for the governor of Kentucky. Lieutenant General Denhart enters the
I
scene.
forgot they have the fucking military
He's been
there.
updated on the situation, and following shortly behind him is a small army of miners and engineers. He declared to the despondent crowd, "Gentlemen, I am here on behalf of the governor. The purse strings of Kentucky are open. Take this blank check and bring that man out alive."
Oh my god. They're just like, we're getting Floyd out.
In
We're
that
doing
cold,
it.
Wet confine could not have imagined the scale of the operation that was going on 55 feet above him. Authorities assumed control of Collins' rescue. Denhart gave Carmichael control over the site, and Carmichael raced to get to work. Carmichael rallied up his men, his fleet of expensive high-tech machinery. Professional groups were brought in from all across the state. No
Wait.
Professional groups were brought in from all across.
Do you guys see it? Right there. Right there.
The state. No longer was this the ad hoc effort of a few individuals. It was a professional and organized rescue. No more squabbling and standing around. Everyone knew what they had to do, and they were working as fast as they could. But just as hopes were rising, they were once again dashed against the rocks.
Oh, fuck.
They had all of this state-of-the-art machinery shipped in and assembled by the engineers and rearing to go. And it was all worthless. See, the problem is, the cave drew air into it. These diesel-powered engines pumped out enormous volumes of choking exhaust. Within a day's operation, the cave would be filled with carbon monoxide, and Floyd would be dead from asphyxiation. Just as quickly as solutions would arise, the cave would parry them away. It refused to let this man go.
How did they not think about that before they
This
brought...
useless machinery was now blocking the path to Floyd, which means they would have to spend the next couple of hours disassembling all of it and moving it away. Because they're about to dig a 55-foot pit the old-fashioned way.
They are fucking determined.
By hand. Carmichael's expertise was in quarries, but the principles transferred over to caving and digging holes. He did some quick back-of-the-envelope math. I've got 75 men. They can dig at 2 feet per hour, and we have to go 55 feet deep. That means we can get to those men in roughly 30 hours, give or take. Now, is it possible that Floyd could survive for another 30 hours?
Yeah, he's not even getting food no more.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Absolutely.
4 men
We're
started at
fucking
great
doing it.
pace. The soil was soft and easy to dig. But as they got deeper, it became more difficult. The deeper the shaft, the narrower it became. Soon, instead of 4 men, they could only fit 2.
Oh, no.
Carmichael understood well that this was a race against time, so it was important that these 2 men were working at full capacity. Carmichael had a queue of men on the sidelines, poised to dig, and the moment that either of the 2 men in the hole slowed down, oi, they pulled them out, threw in a new one.
What the fuck?
Nonetheless,
Pulls them
progress
out by the
slowed
pickaxe.
deeper they went.
It wasn't the other
About
guy?
a quarter of the way down, they reached rock, and one of the men would have to work a pickaxe, leaving only one to shovel. At this step, rubble couldn't
God.
just be flung into a pile. They had to start loading it into buckets, which would have to be pulled to the surface on ropes. Then men outside were ready with
Oh,
wheelbarrows.
it
to
clicks in,
cart
drags
back
him out.
downfield.
Yeah.
Time passed. Hours passed. Night went to day. The day was hot. This was yet another problem, because it's early February, there's tons of ice still in the ground, and its exposure to the midday sun was causing it to become unstable,
No.
and the ground was becoming sodden as a result. Progress slowed once again, just half a foot per hour. There was little for Colin's friends and family to do, but watch the clock and pray. Interestingly, though, there were a lot of people on the sidelines. Floyd wouldn't have
As
believed the scene above him.
They're having a fucking carnival. What? Oh my god.
Practically everything but a Ferris wheel. Food stalls were set up to cash in on the crowds. Families and church groups picnicked in the fields. Despite
What the
prohibition,
fuck?
moonshiners showed up to sell jugs with all of those X's written on them. There was even a bloody juggler. I won't stop juggling till he's free. And Old Man Lee was there, walking around, shaking his jar, and soliciting donations. But where were Homer and
Oh my
Burton and Miller
God.
during all of this? Okay, let's back up a bit. People did not properly understand exactly how Floyd was trapped, and the news didn't help much either. So the obvious question started to arise. Why hasn't he been rescued yet? Just clear some gravel or pull a rope. How is this so hard? Motive.
That's
was
not how that
attributed.
works.
I heard they didn't even want to have him rescued at all.
Oh my
I heard that they're
God.
doing all of this for publicity.
And Lee's activity of soliciting donations, remember from before, further inflamed rumors.
I bet
Yeah,
Floyd
Buzz
isn't
not
even
helping at
trapped
all.
in there.
These were all real rumors, and they got worse.
You know what?
Oh no.
I've heard he comes out at night, and then he just goes back in the morning.
Other rumors included
I heard that after Floyd went into the cave, someone murdered him.
others said
I think they're withholding food and water from him, so he dies.
This whole thing is
This
a
is
fraud.
so stupid.
as time went on, it was harder and harder to ignore the hoax claims. Then, people started to form righteous mobs, claiming the whole thing was a fraud, and they started to get nasty. In fact, 2 people even went to the telegraph office and pretended to be Floyd sending telegrams to his mother, who, by the way, died several years ago. Here's what it said. Quote, "Please
Oh my God.
contradict statements that I am buried alive in Sand Cave. Stop. Tell mother I am all right. Stop. Am coming home. Stop. Floyd Collins." Naturally, the
What
AP
the
published
fuck?
these telegrams
What is
unquestioningly,
wrong with
and now
people?
word is out to the press that he isn't actually in the cave after all. That made the authorities look foolish, and it could not go on. So, a hasty court-martial was arranged, and Homer, Miller, and Gerald were summoned. They hold one session on Monday and another on
Oh my
Tuesday.
God, this is
Lee
ridiculous.
and everyone else is cleared of charges, a retraction is written, and things carry on.
Wait,
Just-
oh, what is
A
that?
retraction is written. and
Lamau
things carry
even.
on. The men at the dig were
Ridiculous.
busy as ever. They set up pumps to mitigate the water in the shaft. Men continued working in shifts and carrying away the earth.
24 feet.
Here they are with strips of lumber to shore up the wall.
Wow.
They were just short of halfway, and their rate of clearing material had slowed to a mere 4 inches per hour.
Oh my God.
It was at that point Carmichael went, "Yeah, okay, sod the cavers, try the dynamite." But it hardly made a dent, and it risked causing the shaft to collapse.
Fuck this.
Despite all of these
Try to
challenges,
show to my fucking
there
food.
was an optimism
Blow up the cave.
in the air, because everyone was keen for their turn to dig. And because they had one more thing to latch onto. He is
That.
probably still alive. Now, how do they know that? Okay,
They don't.
so remember that light bulb around Floyd's neck? Well, it's powered by a simple copper wire. Bare copper wire is subject to very minute fluctuations in resistance. So,
Okay.
an engineer rigs up a radio amplifier to this wire to read the current and see those small fluctuations. There they were. About 20 per minute. The rate of steady breathing. As his chest expands and contracts, they can read it from this device.
That's pretty smart.
And so, they kept going.
There's no,
And go.
you think that they probably just gave up or something.
30 hours was the original estimate. Now 144 hours had come and gone, and they were only at 44 feet.
Yeah, the hours, 288 hours!
Rain that mixed with dirt to make mud, much of which then froze to make ice. Ice which expanded and damaged the integrity of the shaft walls. Slowing down with every hour, they continued. Many more hours passed, and they were getting
They're almost
close.
there. They're
But it was
almost
now
there.
15 days since Floyd was first stuck in that cave, and people
Half a
had
month?
mostly lost hope. That excitement in the newspapers was tempering down. Visitors began clearing out from Cave City. Many still held on to hope, but their final lifeline, that light bulb, had burnt out. And it wasn't possible to do any more readings on the radio amplifier
The
without
light now burnt out?
No one knew.
Yeah, Cave
Floyd
City. That's pretty much
was still alive.
It's called or something. It's only caves.
Another 51 hours would pass before.
There you go.
Finally,
there you go.
They reached the
They got 59
60-foot
feet.
depth.
I'm in. Chisel.
A chisel is handed down. At 1:30 p.m. on Monday, February 16th,
Is he
Sam's
alive?
cave would open once again. Floyd had been pinned in that cave for 17 days. 12 spent without
my
food.
God.
Survivable. 12 without water. Likely not survivable. The light bulb, a vital source of warmth, burned out 4 days ago. But maybe the moisture from the dripping of the cave walls provided him with some sustenance? There are stories of people surviving harsher extremes. A few final rocks were moved to allow Ed Brenner to squeeze in. Everybody stood by, absolutely silent, peering into that
he
hole.
still alive?
Ed scanned
Is
the
he?
opening with his flashlight, listening carefully for movement. Then, head first, he worked his way in. The flashlight reflected dimly off the rock walls, but then
There's his
caught
gold
the
tooth.
reflection of something gold. That golden flicker was not the light bulb. It was the glistening of light reflecting off a gold tooth. His mouth hung open. Floyd was dead.
Oh my God.
Brenner was helped out of the cave and he delivered the news.
Dead.
A coroner would later state that Floyd succumbed to exposure and that they had missed him by just 3 days. About the same time that the light bulb had gone out. When the light bulb went out, so too did his one source of warmth. If it had held out, Collins might have as well. But what would they do now with the body? The shaft walls were ready to fall inwards, and risking lives to remove a corpse was seen as just irresponsible. So it was decided by the authorities. Floyd will stay in that cave.
17 days. 17 fucking
Now,
days.
this did not sit well with the family, but what could they do? The next day, they planned the funeral. The town emptied of people, and the shaft, with Floyd at the bottom, was filled back in. But that's not quite the end of the story.
What?
If you hung on for this long, keep holding on, because things are going to continue to get interesting. But first, let me do a wrap-up of
That
where
was
everyone
what?
is and all that stuff. Context,
Okay.
context. The Collins family already had financial hardship. Lee Collins wasn't able to raise much money from the donations. After the crowds cleared, he was seen searching the site, scanning for empty bottles that he could resell. But the owner of the land, B. Doyle, and supposed friend of Floyd, was wholly unsympathetic. He put up a sign that said, "Floyd's dead body, right this way. Come on now, take a look. Only 50 cents a gander." It's 100 years later, B's dead. Let's call it even. Also, remember those
B's dead.
claims of
Let's go even.
Kentucky being an open purse? Well, the state reneged on the deal. They refused to pay many of the rescuers, and most of them went home without the promised pay, many having
Oh my God.
sacrificed a week's worth of wages from missing their regular work. Some of them did make some money out of the situation, though. They signed on to a type of touring theatre called Vaudeville. They roamed the country, telling their personal stories of their attempted rescue. Miller received the best offer out of anyone, however. How about 50 grand to do the Chautauqua lecture circuit? It'll be worth nearly $1 million in 2023 money. He declined.
What?
He stayed loyal to the Louisville Courier, continuing his work there for several more years. Although, a bit of a perk, he won the 1926 Pulitzer Prize for his reporting on Floyd Collins. Okay, so back to the brother, Homer. He needed money and he agreed to do that vaudeville circuit. He stood on stage and shared with the crowd stories about growing up with his brother, Floyd, and detailing out the tragedy. But Homer made it known why he was up here on stage trying to get money. He had a mission.
I kept thinking of Floyd lying in the muck, where he had suffered beyond our power to imagine. I would never have peace of mind if he remained there.
He wanted the money to dig Floyd up and get him out of that cave. A couple of months later, he had it. All right, so back to Floyd. April 17th, 1925. Homer and a team of excavators. They began to dig. Within a week, they had arrived at Floyd. But instead of coming down the same passage near Floyd's head, they approached from the other side where his foot was. It allowed them to remove the rock that trapped him in place. They lifted him up from his tomb and laid him down on the fresh air above. A couple of days later, Floyd was given an honored place at the family cemetery, next to his mother. A stalagmite was taken from Sand Cave, carved with his name, and used as a headstone. And there he lay. No, that's not actually where it ends.
What?
So this is where it gets weird.
That's not where it ends.
Later,
His grave is not where it...
1927.
Okay.
The Collins family's finances hadn't much improved. A dentist, Harry B. Thomas, walked up to the property and made Lee an offer. Sell this property to me, and I will give you $10,000. Now, Homer begged him not to, because at the time, the government was starting to buy up tons of land in the area and turn it into national parks. They had to pay at a very competitive rate. But Lee was becoming a bit old and senile by this point, and frankly, it's doubtful that he cared about Homer or Floyd or anyone else for that matter. So 100 years later, he's dead now. Let's call it even. So
he's dead now. Let's call it even. There we go. He's dead.
Lee agreed to a very odd clause, and that clause said, everything on that property belongs to Thomas. And should he wish, for example, to exhume a dead body and re-embalm it and put it on display in something really tacky like a glass coffin inside a cave, maybe, then that would be his prerogative. Lee signed yes. And Thomas did exactly that. Doyle made Floyd's corpse a tourist attraction. That's right. 2 bits of gander, come and wonder at the incredible dead man who died in a cave. But to add insult to injury...
What the fuck? They redug up his corpse a second time to put him on this... Okay. What the...
It worked. Visitors returned to San
Look, I'm come see dead guy.
Morbidly at Floyd. Within a few months, Thomas had turned Lee's failing farm into a successful business. The Collins family, naturally, is appalled by the situation, and they immediately reject. They try a number of times to get Floyd returned to them, including through the...
We were watching... Okay, so basically this guy got stuck in a cave for 17 days and finally died.
Legal system. But somehow, incredibly,
and now they're putting his body on display
in Thomas's favor. And so, there he lay for the next 2 years.
Why? What the fuck?
The cave was not done with Floyd.
Of course it's not! What are we gonna do now?
Until someone hatched a plan. 2 years later.
Well, no, the reason why he finally died, because, the light bulb, this is 1925, the light bulb, when he died, the light bulb that was holding, that was keeping him warm went out, so he died, from hypothermia, basically. He died from the elements, finally. Because it caved in, they couldn't give him any food or water anymore, and it was, so many days or something.
It's midnight. Outside
it's pitch black.
Footsteps can be heard rustling through the brush. Now, we don't know who these 2 men are, but we know why they are here. To rob a grave. They sneak inside and clamber over the rocks.
Of course, of course.
Reaching Floyd's casket, they undo the latch and throw open the lid. There is his shriveled body. They throw him in a gunny sack and they race off into the night.
Why? What is wrong with people?
As they carry dear Floyd like a couple of sweaty Santas about to deliver a really terrible Christmas present. Panting, out of breath, knowing that they're going to get caught any minute, they reach the Kentucky Green River hillside. There's no time. With a 1, 2, 3, they launch his body towards the river, and Floyd goes sailing into the air, up, up.
Why?
Into the starlit beyond.
Whatever you want.
And landing in a bush. Oh, God.
Landing in... What the fuck?
The 2 men flee from the scene.
So, his brother, his brother, like, got the money to finally dig out his dead body, put him in an actual grave. Then they sold the farm, because they needed the money, and, well, the now old dad did. And then, fucking, and then they took his body out, they put him into, like, a glass fucking casing or whatever, put him into the cave, used him as a tourist attraction, and now they robbed that, and they threw him in a bush. Why?
Now, the next morning, Thomas notices that the body of Floyd is somewhat missing, and he contacts the authorities. The police come, they dust the casket for fingerprints, and bloodhounds are given Floyd's scent and let loose into the hillside. A few hours later, they manage to find
people be
him,
like,
splayed out on a big shrub down by the river. But this time...
Yeah, this is
with a
America.
leg
This is in...
That same one
Was it
that was
Kentucky?
trapped under the rock. So, despite his protests, it had been amputated. Neither the leg nor the culprits were ever found. And while it would be nice...
Wait, what?
That same night, a few hours later, they managed to find him, splayed out on a big shrub down by the river. But this time, with a leg missing, that same one
They
that was
cut
trapped
off
under
the leg
rock.
that trapped him?
So, despite his protests, it had been amputated. Neither the leg nor the culprits were ever found. And while it would be nice to think that this was some well-intentioned duo that did this out of the kindness of their hearts to free Floyd, it's much more likely that it was an act of vandalism because Floyd was simply too much of a hot tourist attraction. The following day, Floyd was cast back into the cave, back into his box, and it was covered by a metal lid, surrounded by a metal chain, and locked with a padlock. He was now more trapped than he had ever been. This cave had spun fate once again to make sure that its victim would never leave. And so, time passed. Floyd's body would continue to decay. The rot from his body would eventually rot the casket too, and every decade or so, it would need to be replaced. A few years later, he was no longer on display. But even then, he remained in that box for many more years.
Okay. We're really going now.
By 1989, Floyd's Cave was purchased by Mammoth Cave National Park, and it was closed to the public. There would be no more visitors. The entrance itself to Floyd's Cave was closed with a steel gate and bolted, then welded shut. But the Collins family never gave up objecting to Collins' body being left in the cave. And
his children are just him.
In 1989, at the Collins' request, the National Park Service ventured into Floyd's Cave. Continuing on a more than 60-year tradition, a team of people worked over the course of several days to remove him from the cave. They took him out, left the cave, locked it behind them, and laid Floyd to rest at the Mammoth Cave Baptist Church Cemetery. After
just
64
put him back
years
in the ground. You could
Sand Cave, he is now finally
that's what they did.
at peace. The end.
Okay, what the fuck? There's so much wrong with this. There's so much wrong with this. idiots. I agree. Like, what the fuck? For caskets later, even more than that. Even thinking about it, because they finally pulled him out. He got the money. His brother got the money to pull him out of there. Then, Jesus fucking Christ! Thanks for the sub wild. That scared the fuck out of me. Thanks for this sub. Let's go. Holy shit, that was louder than I thought it was. Have a coffin. Yeah, it's yeah, cheers to poor Lloyd. Do you know what? I will agree to that. Here's my drink. Cheers to poor Lloyd, okay?